Hey folks, this is Nate coming at you real quick. Just wanted to do a brief demo video because I've got a bunch of these Bendu Armory empty sleeves that I have up for sale. I've got about 7 of them. I've got one of these, which is the red Kevlar. I've actually got 2 of these, red Kevlar rhodium. I've got both of those that I have up for sale. And then I've got 2 of these, which is the andesite Shoto. And then I've got one other one, which is my obsidian feldspar Shoto. So I've got 7 of these empty sleeve hilts all for sale. I think I'm selling them for somewhere around $60 or $65 each, right? But I've gotten a lot of questions from folks who have never seen these before, or have heard of them but have never seen them up close. Ask me, well, if I were to get one of these, how would I go about getting a chassis? What does a chassis look like? Can an installer design a chassis for me for these? So I figured I should make this video to sort of explain what the Bendu Armory chassis looks like and how it interacts with these sleeves. So this is one of the sleeves, or rather this is one of the Bendu Armory Sabers that I'm keeping that's in my collection. This is the Akoa Obsidian, and this has a chassis in it. And this also has a V4 quantum blade in it. So these chassis that Bendu Armory makes, it's sort of a one-size-fits-all. It is there, if you look on their website, it's called the Gladiator, I believe, the Gladiator Quickswap chassis core. And I think it retails for somewhere around $300, something like that. So let me show you what it looks like and how it interacts with these sleeves. So the top portion of this chassis is sort of this metal lip here. And you'll notice in these Bendu Armory sleeves, they all have this little open lip, and that's what that lip is, or excuse me, that's what that opening is for. That is where this metal lip of the chassis sort of slides in and locks into place. It's more like a guidance, rather. On the back, on the underside of each sleeve, you will see retention holes. That is where you lock the chassis and the blade into place. Okay, so and I use the thumb screw on the top one, but the bottom one is a head screw. Right. So if I remove both, and also the reason why it's got 2, originally the reason why it had 2 holes instead of just 1 is because for some that wanted CoverTech wheels, you would screw in the CoverTech wheel on the bottom screw, and then the top screw would be the retention hole that locked in both the chassis and the blade. So the blade is actually inside the chassis. So when you pull it out, you'll notice that that's the chassis, which is inside the sleeve, right? So then all you do with your thumb, once you have the screws pulled out, you just pop it forward and then slide it out. And this is what a Bendu Armory chassis core looks like. So, on to the other question, can you get these custom made? Not very easily. So for one, you would need the inner diameter of these sleeves, and you would need to talk to somebody other than Bendu Armory who has experience making chassis in this dimension. With this type of setup. I'm not saying it can't be done, but for the price you would be likely paying, you're much better off just getting these directly from Bendu Armory. Not only that, but the quality that they do of these in-house is exceptional. These are some of the best, sturdiest, most reliable shop-made saber cores I've ever used. This particular one is one of their newer ones. This is the one they do now, which uses a larger 21700 battery. And they've also added this little thumb in the back here so you can pop it out much more easily. They've also reoriented the board now so that you don't have to account for the flip in your configs. So they used to have the board this way facing out, but now they've aligned it so that you don't have to account for the 180-degree flip in your configs. So just as easy here, and they have this little flat plane underneath here, so that it's very, very easy to get a hold of your SD card, right? And it's also very easy to plug in a micro USB cable. You don't have to lift the board, you don't have to do anything like that. It's very, very easy to access the board. These cores use a 28mm speaker. I know for a long time they used the KR 28mm speaker. I don't know if they still use that one now or if they use the Smuggler's Outpost 28mm. But I think their product information on their website would tell you. If not, you can always DM them and ask. So these cores are very loud.
Name's Kyle Katarn. Just call me Kyle. Titles make my skin crawl.
This particular core is a Profi core, and it's a 3.9 board. So they do wire up their Profi cores with the most recent boards. Right. I believe they also do CFX and Golden Harvest. So I think you have a choice of those three board options. So this is the Bendu Armory core. That's what it looks like. Now, say you have a Kirak. Again, that same lip design goes right in. Andesite sugar goes right in. Now, some of these may have a little bit different fitment, like slightly different fitment. Some may slagging a little tighter, some may be a little looser. But they're all these cores are designed to be universal with all of these sleeves. And then back to my Ecoa Obsidian. Right. And then, as I mentioned before, the blade actually goes in the core. Right. So that is how Bendu Armory has their Saber set up. So one of the nice values, obviously, in these is that if you own one core, you can own as many of the sleeves as you want, and you can just swap this core into each one of them as you use them. For me personally, because I also own an Agamite staff, I purchased 2 cores over the years. I've had more cores over the years. I've reduced down to 2, because that's really all I need. So when I use my staff, I just put both cores in the staff. And when I'm not using the staff, I usually just put both cores in the 2 obsidian hilts that I have. So for any of you interested in these empty Bendu Armory sleeves, that's essentially what the core looks like. You can get the core directly from Bendu Armory's website. I'll put a link below in the video description where you can go to get it. And then that product page should tell you the price, the specifications, and all of that good stuff. So hopefully that helps answer some questions. All right, take care, y'all.